Okay, so how do you know whether the ship is MLC compliant? You will have something called the MLC certificate on board. Okay, so you will have MLC certificate on board. Then with that you will know okay, that ship is MLC compliant. And what does the company do for doing the actions as per the MLC which is required? How do they prove it? Okay, for that you have a document called the DMLC. Okay, so a Declaration for Maritime Labour Convention. You have two parts to it. One is the DMLC Part 1 and the second one is the DMLC Part 2. Okay, DMLC Part 1 is actually published by the flag state. Okay, this certificate, MLC certificate, is also issued by flag state like all other statutory certificates. Okay, now this DMLC Part 1 says in our flag, because there is some leeway, how you need to implement in your flag vessels. That is given by ILO to that flag state, that you take care, these are the regulations. Now you put on rules and regulations where how your flagships are going to comply to this convention. Okay, in that case where they publish this DMLC part 1. Okay, DMLC part 2, that is Declaration of Maritime Labour Convention part 2, that is given by the company or the operator, okay, who actually is the technical manager, or he is also called the MLC owner of the ship. Okay, owner as per the MLC, that is usually the technical manager, okay, who has the document of compliance for operating the vessel. Okay, this might be little heavy, or I'm not very sure. If you are a seafarer or you are well versed in the manning office, you should have heard all these terms, document of compliance, DMLC, all those things you have heard. Basically, there are, you can for simplicity, we'll have two certificates. One is the MLC certificate and second is the DMLC. Okay, there are two certificates. DMLC has two parts, part 1, part 2. Part 1 is the rules, part 2 is the company says how we are going to implement this on that ship specifically. Okay, so that is what is there in the MLC and DMLC. Okay, MLC 2006, because we always tell us the MLC 2006 because that was brought into being in 2006, but it was ratified in 2013. So in all the convention it is always like that, MARPOL 73, 78, SOLA 74. So all this convention, STCW 78, 2010. So it is all when it is published, that is what is the date we call for the convention. Okay, 5 parts of MLC. You have the MLC Maritime Labour Convention is divided into 5 major parts. The first major part covers the minimum requirement for seafarers to work on the ship. Okay, so what are the requirements? You have an age criteria, you have a medical criteria, you have how are you recruited, how are you placed on board, what all things you have rights. All those things are covered in the minimum requirements of seafarers to work on a ship. Then second one comes the condition of employment. When you are actually employed, then what are the conditions, your contract, what all should it have, what are the details you need to check when you are signing the contract, what is your rights, how can you read your contract or no. All those regulations, requirements are given in this condition of employment. Okay, third is accommodation, recreation facilities and food and catering. Okay, this is again pre-MLC, you can tell there was no standard regulations, it was all very haphazardly followed for every all over the world. So MLC brought in some structure, and this is you have somebody to report to, in case of any of these issues. You have somebody, at least you can go to ITF, you can go to DG Shipping, for example, in case of Indian flagships. You can go to the flag state also, so MLC has given some tooth to the seafarers where you can actually tell, boss, this is my right. Before, earlier there was no specific areas where you can tell this is your right or something. Now you have a book where you can refer to and tell, but this is what I am entitled to. Okay, you have what kind of accommodation you should have, what are the recreational facilities you should have, what food and catering, how much food, what kind of food you should have. All those things are mentioned in the Maritime Labour Convention. Again, as I told, this is the guidelines, and then based on that you have a DMLC part 1, and based on DMLC part 1 you will have DMLC part 2. So you want to refer, was my ship, what all should have, directly you ask for a DMLC part 2. Exactly, you will know what the owner, the MLC owner or the technical manager has confirmed to the flag that he will be doing. If he has put in everything, whatever he has done, but he is not doing what he has put in the MLC part 2, then you have the right to go and complain. Okay. Health protection, medical care, welfare and social security protection. Okay, this again, medicals, how much compensation you should get, what kind of medical care you should get, on board what are the protection measures you should have, what are the welfare activities what seafarers should do. All those things come under this heading. Compliance and enforcement. This means again, how MLC can be complied with on board and how it is enforced. Like, earlier the port state control did not have any tooth to stop any ships. Now you have MLC, you have that MLC there that gives a stick for the port state control people to come and enforce the laws. You have people now. People are stopping ships because they are not MLC compliant. You are on board more than 11 months. So this all comes from the MLC, where they can stop the ship if they feel it is not compliant with the MLC. Okay, so these are the 5 major areas of MLC where we will be covering. I will take one by one. Minimum requirements will go deep, so that you are having a very good picture on what is MLC, what is it in it for us. Okay, for seafarers you exactly know what are the requirements, etc. And for the office staff you will know what we should know about MLC. For us, there are this new new requirement came in 2017, 2018 was that the financial security. That's very, very important. Everybody looks for it. Even as India is an MLC compliant country, you need to have MLC certification for mining agencies. All mining agencies all over the world will have to have MLC certification that you are MLC compliant. MLC compliant means you need to have procedures. Even your office staff who are recruited should be as per the MLC. MLC gives a requirement of how your office staff should be. They should be known about the maritime industry, all those things. So those all we will cover when I cover these points elaborately. Okay, so this video I think we will stop here, and the next video I will start with the minimum requirements for seafarers to work on a ship. Okay, thank you so much for viewing this video. Please do share it with your friends and colleagues ashore or on ships, so that they also get the knowledge what you get. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a nice day. Be safe. Please follow CAP.